Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live, and I'm Cyril Stober. Now, the All Progressives Congress, APC, which assumed power at the center in 2015 after a successful merger by groups of opposition parties, has now had 3 different conventions, the third being last Saturday's. Now, the outcome of the convention is generating discussions among party faithful and political pundits alike. Tonight, NTA Tuesday Live will engage some key players and some of the issues arising from that convention. But before we go into that, let's get to see this report by Salihu Gwanara.
National Convention on the 26th of March.
Announcement that made July 31st, 2013. The first one was held on June 13, 2014. The second, though non-elective, on October 29, 2014. The third was held on December 10th and 11th to elect the party's presidential candidate ahead of the 2015 general elections. The party's fourth national convention was held on June 23, 2018 at Eagle Square. The decision of the party's National Executive Committee of June 25, 2020, which truncated the Adams-Oshomole-led National Working Committee, gave birth to the 5th National Convention. Taking into consideration the delay and uncertainty in the build-up to the conduct of the 5th National Convention by the 13-member Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee led by Governor Maimala Buni of Yobe State, party members say it is better late than never. Expectations are high for members who say the year 2022 is not only a pre-election year, but one where elections will be conducted in Ekiti and Osun State.
They are expected to be free, fair, and transparent in running the affairs of the party and also in the conduct of party primaries. They should give level playing field to all aspirants. So long as that is their watch, so long as that is their primary focus, APC will continue to grow in leaps and bounds in the years to come.
In discharging his duties, he should carry the members of NWC together and all other stakeholders, which is the most important, so that to avoid the what happened 2018 when we have one man show. Only the chairman is single-handedly spearheading all the activities of the party to let him prove Nigerian that what they were expecting from him, more especially the APC members, that he's going to do the right thing.
From his inaugural speech, the new national chairman is not new to the demands of the party, having led the National Reconciliation Committee, one of the major tasks carried out by the Governor Puni-led Caretaker Committee. Even though he promised to make public the policies and programs of the new National Working Committee soon, he acknowledged the crucial need to reposition the party to sustain its winning streak.
We shall effect lasting reconciliations among our members, and we shall go into the next general election as a strong and united party.
There is the optimism from party supporters that the coast is now clear for a united APC, particularly with the commitment shown by stakeholders and leader of the party, President Muhammadu Buhari. This development, they added, is responsible for a peaceful national convention. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Well, that report sets the tone for tonight's discussion. Let me introduce our guest to you. I'd like to welcome to this program Dr. Musa Babayu, a former chairman, Board of Trustees of TET Fund. Thanks for being with us here tonight.
Thank you, Cyril. Good evening, Nigerians.
Let me also welcome to this program Bukie Okangbe. She is a National Coordinator, APC Progressives Hub, and Senior Special Assistant New Media to the Governor of Cross River State. She joins us via Zoom. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, senior colleague.
Okay, at the appropriate time, we will get to acquaint you with the procedure, of linking up and getting to be part of the discussion in the studio, but that's not now. When the time comes, we'll refresh your memory on what you need to do to be part of the discussion. Phone lines will be on, and so you can call in. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But back to the present. Last week, we took a look at what was then the upcoming convention of the...
Cyril, good evening, Nigerians. In a simple English, what happened last Saturday was awesome. Convention of a political party is one of the most important events in its calendar. The event of Saturday last week was rancor-free, was feasible. Elections were conducted through consensus, and the party had emerged stronger, better, and more focused. And much more importantly, we have in its leadership a person who is resourceful, focused, highly experienced in party administration and governance, a good parliamentarian, supported by eminently qualified members of the National Working Committee and the National Executive Committee of the party. I believe the outcome has clearly established one fundamental fact to fear as we move forward towards the events of 2023.
Thank you. All right, we'll look at some of the things you've said in greater detail. Well, let's go over to Bukie Okangwe, who joins us via Zoom. And I'll just put the same question to you. What are your thoughts about how the convention ended?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. So progressive. Like,
all right, okay. Okay, we'll get to you. Having some challenges with the network there. We'll get back to you. It's important we hear your views about this one. All right, you're back. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, it's something that a lot of people never expected. But we progressive, we knew that it was going to be something awesome. So it's all over my face. I'm so tired, but I still celebrate. I'm still celebrating it. It's a wonderful, wonderful outcome. We spoke very loud on Saturday. We spoke very loud on Sunday. And as a female progressive, I am very happy for my leaders. We took a decision and it was very democratic. And I'm very proud of APC.
Okay. All right, let's raise one or two issues about how it went, and rather than witness what I would call a usual night of voting, what we saw was withdrawals, people stepping down, and in the long run we had voice votes. Is this all part of this consensus arrangement, and any worries about that?
Consensus is another form of election. In a political party, members for direct primaries, for indirect, and for consensus. All the three options are good, are encouraged by its leadership to trade up, to make concessions in the overall interest of the party. Election normally comes with a lot of bickerings, rancor, tempers normally go high. When it comes to consensus, members who have indicated interest to buy for a particular party position are encouraged to come together and talk to themselves as one family. Because whichever option you choose, at the end of the day, only one person will still emerge to fill that particular vacancy. The consensus option has clearly established the political sagacity, strategy of the leader of the party, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, who encouraged party members to drop their own personal interests and idiosyncrasies and other prejudices for the overall interests of the party. When you come to consensus, you are only looking at the big picture, and the big picture here is the APC. Every other picture is secondary. Members have exhibited high sense of discipline by complying fully. If you do it well, you are basically sending a very strong signal to the rest of the country, to the rest of other players within the political environment, that this party means business, that this party is fully prepared to meet the challenges of today and the challenges of tomorrow.
All right. There's still one or two things that some people have talked about, and certain reports coming out of the grounds. For instance, that yes, it might seem on the surface that everyone had agreed to whatever arrangement had been made, but some reports would say they most probably acquiesced because they did not have a choice. And at the end of the day, there are still some disappointed people who left the grounds and are still licking their wounds. Would you say that description is not correct?
No, it is correct. You know, the idea of consensus does not mean total agreement. In a political party, just like any other organization, that is plural and heterogeneous. You cannot expect every person to totally agree with you. In fact, in a political party, members are encouraged as a matter of political strategy to disagree. What is objectionable is to allow disagreement to degenerate into a conflict. Even if we go for full-blown elections, delegates are still free to vote one way or the other. And most often, they move in the direction of their political leadership. So still, the outcome wouldn't have been different. What the consensus option had done for us basically was to shorten time instead of sleeping for 24 hours in Eagle Square voting, disrupting traffic, creating inconveniences for other Nigerians, because this is a party that is sensitive to the feelings and aspirations of an average person, those who are the most vulnerable group within society.
Let me just put this across. If Bukia is still with us and she's right there, and say yes, you in your opening comments you said you're tired but you're so happy, and it's written all over your face that you are happy. Obviously, there are those who are not as happy as yourself, party people who were at that convention. What would you say about that?
Well, I have to say something to you right now. Definitely when it comes to consensus, not everybody will be happy. But in this case, immediately after the consensus, few hours, most of our party members that ran the elections, we started reconciliation. I mean, I have had candidates, aspirants that ran the elections that have organized Thanksgiving and they've celebrated with the candidate that the aspirants that emerged. So I think, one thing you have to know about APC, we playing the kind of politics we playing, especially with the young politicians. First of all, Nigerians need to know that the young APC members are on top of their affairs. We are sitting with the olds and we are negotiating and we're talking. That is one of the things that most of the party members in other parties are not even getting close to. Now, we have a woman leader who is she's the first ever youngest woman leader in the history of Nigeria. She is already on top of her affairs. She's working already. We have a youth leader who is very, very, very competent. Already, he has had his press conference. Things are working already. He has reconciled with most of the youth leaders that actually stepped down for him. So our consensus is not like every other consensus that people have to go all the way, all the months suffering and getting bitter. We've reconciled. We're ready to work together. We're ready to move the party forward. We're ready to listen. We have a solid party chairman. Adamu Abdullahi is an experienced party chairman who has been there. He's an elder statesman that politics is in his palm. He knows how to do it. He's competent. He's 100% 100% great in reconciliation. So what is happening in APC right now is like most of our members most of the opponents will think they are aggrieved, they are angry, they walk away from Eagle Square. Most of them are back home. We're thinking how to move the party forward. So many of them have met with the chairman. So many of them have met with the youth leader. So many of them have met with the woman leader. All our leaders, all the National Working Committee from yesterday, they've started work. So we're not even thinking about who is angry and who is not angry or who is bitter. We've moved forward. We've passed that lane. Our people are already reconciled. We're working together for 2023.
All right. Thank you very much. Beyond the discussions in the studio, we also have reports as usual. We'll start off with our first report tonight, which comes from Lagos.
The ruling party, All Progressives Congress, APC, on the 26th of March, successfully conducted its national convention to elect new leaders that will steer the affairs of the party at every level of politicking in the country, with a view to ensure that the party emerge victorious in future elections. The emergence of Senator Abdullahi Adamu as the national chairman of the party, as well as other executives, in an atmosphere devoid of rancor and violence, further affirms the progressive character of party leaders and faithful. Building the party over individual interest and personal gains is one of the agenda of the new executive, with the aim to reconcile all aggrieved members against external forces capable of causing disunity, division, and acrimony. Expectations from the new leadership is to ensure and implement President Muhammadu Buhari's aspiration of building formidable force and ensure that members do not suffer litigation in future. The party is also repositioned to maintain its leadership as the largest in the country.
As we go into 2023, the APC should realize that whatever was done March 26 as convention can be given as their internal issues. It can be considered as their choice because they are members of the APC. But whatever will be their decision in picking the presidential candidate for 2023 will not be about the APC. It's going to be about us as the people. It's going to be about us as a nation.
As events continue to unfold in the political space across the country, the APC is optimistic that it will be a force to reckon with in 2023 general elections.
All right, Lagos to Kaduna, that's where we go next for this other report.
The ability of the ruling All Progressives Congress to manage its national convention and come out strong and united remain a major plus to President Muhammadu Buhari, who is the leader of the party. After long hours of horse trading among party frontline members, leadership of the party emerged through consensus, which is part of the APC constitution.
We believe in President Muhammadu Buhari. We are all the time giving him our full support. That was why when he said we must support Senator Abdullahi Adamu to be our next chairman, he supported the move overwhelmingly.
For the first time, the ruling party is doing its convention, despite the fact that it is transition period, but is rancor-free. Thanks to President Muhammadu Buhari for doing what he did in ensuring that peace, stability, equality played out during this recently concluded convention.
The consensus reached before the convention and at the convention is an indication that the APC is one united family under the towering figure of our amiable President, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
Consolidating these gains in the 2023 general elections is what has been in the minds of party members.
My expectation for the newly elected leadership is to come up with the modalities that will ensure free and transparent primary election in order to give room for all the aspirants, people that are aspiring from various positions, from councillor also the president, so that the people will choose the right candidate to represent the party at all levels.
Through the unity and tranquility, harmony, that justice and fair play. So all we need to do now is to make sure that all the projects this government has been, prosecuting in this country, ranging from the roads to all the bridges, to the Anko scheme, the agricultural scheme, we must have to pursue them vigorously.
What I should suggest to the new national chairman of a great party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, is that he should adopt the spirit of no victor, no vanquished. He should extend his hands of fellowship to other aspirants.
Members of the ruling party, therefore, are hopeful that the party, under the leadership of Senator Abdullahi Adamu, will retain power come 2023.
All right, those two reports from Lagos and Kaduna, and right here in the studio in Abuja, we're just been joined by Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who's Chairman, Media and Publicity of the House of Representatives and spokesman, Abia State Leadership Caucus of the APC. Honorable Benjamin Kalu, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You were here with us last week when we did a preview of the convention. Okay, I recall you did say you were going to be back here to tell us what transpired, what happened, and the outcome. So here you are. Let's start from that premise. The outcome of that. Was it a surprise to you, or like a lot of people would say, it was already cut and dry?
Thank you very much. Like I mentioned when I came here last time, that I was confident that the outing last Saturday was going to be one of the best. And I stated the reasons. And I'm happy today that we did not fail Nigerians. But let me start this way by thanking the leadership of the caretaker committee for piloting the structure that helped to deliver this wonderful convention. And I also want to, as a stakeholder in the party, send my thanks and commendation to the 23 subcommittees of the convention who worked tirelessly within 2 weeks to deliver this. It's the first time in history that we'll have a party with almost 50 million people gathering together seamlessly, without rancor, without acrimony. Yes, there will be pockets of it here and there, but not major. So I appreciate the effort of this subcommittee. I also want to let Nigerians know that we appreciate the delegates who came, despite the security situation around the country, who came from all corners of the country. None was missing. Statutory delegates, all of them were there. There was no our party. If there was our party, some will not be there. But we had the coloration of this coming there. That shows unity. That shows this symbol of our party, which is the broom, the philosophy of unity, being bound together. And APC, by the outing on Saturday, have, set a benchmark for other political parties to, conduct a rancor-free convention, that will give a good image for their parties. Let me also mention this, that particular outing has given assurance to Nigerians that we have the capacity in few months' time to conduct presidential primaries, candidate nomination that is going to come up in a few months' time without rancor, without acrimony as well. So it is forward-looking for our party, and the gains there. When I hear people talk about the consensus, which I know you're also going to raise with me. About this consensus. What about this consensus?
Yes, lots of people talked about the consensus.
Yeah, is it negative?
Was it the best under the circumstances?
Of course.
Well, in a way, that also...
there are two schools of thought.
Right. Takes out people from actualizing their aspirations.
There are two schools of thoughts to this. One school of thought says it is undemocratic. And they try to support it with the inability of people to exercise their freedom to aspire, or their conscience and all the rest of them. Then the other stronger school of thought that I believe in is that we have a fragile democracy, an upcoming democracy, and also our party has passed through shocks. That what we needed as a party was nothing but that which will increase the cohesion of the party. Not the one that will lead to multiple litigations in court. Considering the fact that we need another convention soonest for our presidential candidate, as well as the general election that is near the corner. The party cannot pass through any further shock. That was why, since it is a constitutional provision in our party constitution, we opted for that to stabilize the party and to grow the party. By consensus, like I defined here last time, consensus is not imposition achieved through coercion. Consensus is a general agreement between stakeholders dedicated or delegated to organize that process. And I can assure you that democratic process, ethos, tenets we observe in the emergence of those who benefited from the consensus. And like we mentioned, for the stability of the country, we must always, in the practice of our democracy, incorporate our unique structure, reality, which is heterogeneity in ethnicity, in religion, and all the rest of them. Therefore, it is in the wisdom of our party, in balancing the arts, to take what was in the north to the south, and what was in the south to the north, and then further broke it down for it to trickle down to the various geopolitical zones, down to the states, and from the state to the local government. So he made the micromanagement of these to be easier.
Okay, Dr. Musa Babayo, let me take you to President Buhari's speech at that convention, wherein he enjoined the members to promote internal democracy and to respect the wishes of the members of the party and to resist the temptation of imposition. Now, how does that directly against the concept of the consensus arrangement which Honorable Benjamin Kalu has talked about, because some would still say, well, let me go out there and try my hands at it. Don't ask me to agree and step down for Honorable Benjamin Kalu when I want to go out there and test my strength against him.
The President's charge clearly defines 3 key areas. 1, internalization of internal democracy. 2, running a Ranko-free National Working Committee and the National Executive Committee of the party. And 3, desist from imposition. These 3 basic principles are still consistent with the consensus option which the party had adopted last Saturday. One of the primary responsibilities of party managers basically is to internalize democracy. And that is to say, the National Working Committee in its dealings, its meetings, its policies and strategies must be consistent with the internalization of democracy. The chairman of the party, the national chairman, is a pastor among equals. So each and every member of the National Working Committee has a stake to make a significant contribution in the party debate and in its resolve to arrive at a particular policy option. Members of our political party of the APC has a huge responsibility to remain together, to be cohesive, because they have a formidable challenge going forward before them. So the charge by Mr. President for the party to significantly reduce bickerings, internal or otherwise, is apt and still consistent with the consensus option. And the final one basically is the charge for the party leadership, not enforce. Like my other colleague had mentioned rightly, consensus is not an imposition. It requires agreements, discussions, horse trading by all major stakeholders of the party. Whichever option we chose, we should remember on Saturday, Abdullahi Adamu still will have emerged. The critical stakeholders of the party will still have come together and kick in behind him. Because delegates emerge from somewhere. They emerge through a process. And that process is sacrosanct. The delegates were encouraged and prompted to go that particular direction because of all the issues that were mentioned earlier. So I believe that the internalization of democracy is one of the key policy goals of Abdullahi Adamu-led National Working Committee. I believe he will do that. I believe other members of the National Working Committee will do the same. I believe there will be disagreements in a political party because of its plural nature, because it is highly heterogeneous. I believe the leadership has the capacity, experience, and maturity to smoothen all the rough edges and make the party better prepared for the challenges ahead.
Okay, fine. Let's return to Bukie Okangbe, Zoom, who joins us via Zoom. And let me put this to you. And you know that there are many skeptics, many who believe that politics in Nigeria is essentially about huge funds. All right? We recall that before the convention, President Buhari asked that those who were stepping down, who are agreeing to this arrangement, should have whatever they bought their forms for refunded to them. Some would also ask and say, well, you know, certainly you don't run a campaign. It's not just the purchase of forms. There are other things which huge funds go into. Did they get back? Would you know, did they get back the other expenses beyond the purchase of forms? Would you know that? And on a general scale, how much of money play did we see at that convention?
Well, when you talk about getting back to the people that purchased the form, and I mean, for what the president said, I mean, if you step down, you get your money refunded and all that. And I think whatever the position we are in APC right now, especially with the people that emerges, we're not only talking about what they spend and what they use, the money they use to buy the form, or what they spend during the campaigns and all that. Like I said to you earlier, most of the people that step down are working hand in hand with the candidate, the consensus candidate that emerges. The youth leader is working with the other youth leader aspirants. The woman leader is connecting with other woman leader aspirants. It's not about money. It's about sitting down together. Bring your manifesto. Let me bring mine. How can we put this together? The APC of yesterday is not the APC of today. We have the youngest woman leader. We have the youngest youth. We don't have the youngest youth leader, but we have a youth leader that have so many, that was in Harvard, he has capacities, like I said, it's not about money. It's about what you have on the table. Let's see if we can use your manifesto. Let's see if I can bring mine and you bring yours, and we put it together and use it. So I think it's gone beyond what you spend during your campaign. You saw distinguished Senator Tanko Al-Makura with distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu. You saw Dr. Beth Aido with Mary Ekpere. You saw Israel Dayo with Shegun Dada, and the rest of them. So it's not about what you spend on where you get it from. It's about bring what you have. Let's bring is our office. I might be the one that emerged. I might be the youth leader, but bring what you have and let's work together. That's the APC of today. Now, the other people said they have a young youth leader. Since the young man emerges a couple of months ago during their convention, has he ever had a press conference? No. But we just came on board. Yesterday, there was a press conference. He has been to 2 states. He has cut across. All the zonal leaders are working. My South zonal leader is 26. And when I met him, he was like, I thought he was going to be a boy. Like, he sounds like an experienced politician. So the APC of today is not like other political parties. We are on top of the table. We are with our leaders. They have called us, they have invited us to make decisions together, and that is what is happening. Whatever you spend is not important, it's what you want to give. What you had to give before, bring it, we'll put it together with whoever is on top, and we give it out.
Okay, back here, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, there were certain issues that quite a number of your members were on edge about it, especially dealing with the Electoral Act. And one of the hottest issues that was up for discussion that I recall was the matter of delegates, political appointees. Obviously, your party was playing safe when it decided that political appointees should not form those delegates. So you didn't want to test the waters with that and see what might come out right.
Yeah, before I delve into that, permit me to scratch a little bit of what my sister was trying to address with regards to party members who have worked for the party, who participated in this process, whom the president has said should get their forms back. To address your question, it's not just going to be a handout on the amount spent on the farms. The party has an internal mechanism to reward those that have contributed to the growth of the party, and whether you like it or not, those who pick up forms, who campaign, they strengthen the mindset of party members, raise their confidence, to believe in the party. They added brick in the wall of our party, and there is a record. Those who were, who felt that, they have sacrificed a lot, those who have seen that have sacrificed a lot, I'm sure the party will find a way of making sure they are taken care of. Having said that, I'm sure what you are referring to is Section 8412, the famous Section 8412.
Indeed.
And if you know one of the attributes of our party, one of the beauty of our party is that we have a leadership. We have a leadership that everyone is focused on, in the sense that he gives the direction, he leads with the way he does things, and that's the president of the country. And this Siklat, when it comes to obeying the laws, playing to the rules, he signed that electoral act, and the right of appeal on that decision of Umahia has not been exhausted, has not been foreclosed. The law allows about 90 days. And what happened within that 90 days when there is an interested party or two interested parties who want to go to society, right? Are you going to act on the decision that has not been appealed, and a decision that has not been vetted by the Supreme Court as a final decided in law will say decided res judicata, giving a decent burial? That case has not been given a decent burial, and based on that, it behooves those who apply the law to be careful, to making sure they don't offend the provisions of that 8412, which I personally, during my press briefing in the House, announced that the spirit of that 8412 is still alive until that 90 days expires. And in the wisdom of the party, under the leadership of the man who signed that bill into law, he said, be careful to ensure that you comply. What are we losing by complying? Because most of the people who are statutory delegates, they did not become statutory delegates by virtue of their appointment. And some of them have been, SDs, as that, is this. So whether they were appointed or not, they could come under that umbrella, under that platform as this and that, and be there. But we are very specific. We said, if you have an appointment, you are not going to vote. Now, this is where the beauty of the unity list comes, because litigations might come up. A PDP and all the opposition, they were waiting to see if we're going to, overstep the boundaries of that particular law. Now, with the unity list, which is the consensus, which is the agreement of the people, he cannot say this person is this or that person is that. It opens the space for a unified agreement between all the stakeholders on the direction we want to go. So if you go to court, that unity list will come up and it will solve a whole lot of problems for us. So we were careful, and I'm happy. Our party was very careful in complying with the dictates of 8412 until the final decision on it is reached. Will the situation be different later on? Yes, if the decision of the Supreme Court, if it's not resolved by the appellate court, the Court of Appeal, if it is not resolved, if it is resolved by the appellate court, in the contrary, the party would comply. But if not, and the status quo remains, definitely we've not lost anything by complying with that law. That's my point.
All right, so the convention held, new leadership was elected,
yes,
via consensus. So let's turn to what you expect from the new leadership of the APC, where it should take this party to. Yeah. It's always like this when you have a new set of leaders come in and you have huge expectations. It all seems fine. How long will this hold?
Because of the experience of our new chairman and his team, I expect them to hit the ground running. The first major task, in my personal judgment, is for the National Working Committee to hold its inaugural meeting, clearly defined the next steps, communicate effectively and efficient, the most efficient manner, what those steps are to the entire party membership and Nigerians across the spectrum. But much more importantly, the National Working Committee should remind itself of the need to make the Peace and Reconciliation Committee a standing committee of the party, so that it will continue to work on daily basis, smoothing the rough edges across different segments and tendencies of our party. And secondly, making additional effort to reach out to those that have left the party for whatever reasons, to bring them back if they have left. Because one of the primary assets of a political party is people, not money. Money doesn't win election, people do. That was what happened in the first. That is what is going to happen under the leadership of this president tomorrow. So reaching out to the party members that have left for whatever reason is key. And thirdly, to promote inclusiveness within the party administration. The national leadership of the party should, as a matter of political necessity, realize that this party is bigger than its members in the executive arm, in the legislative arm, and within the party leadership itself, from the center down to the wards. There are other critical stakeholders within this party who are working tirelessly every day to push the party to the frontier of success and beyond it. They should always remember those critical stakeholders, and even though that are not critical, are given special consideration in everything that the party does. People have different reasons for being in politics. Inclusiveness promotes cohesion, promotes high level of party loyalty and patriotism, and it galvanizes everyone who are supporting the party as we move towards 2023 and other elections, by elections before it. It's difficult for me, for example, to go to Honorable Benjamin's ward and win election for him. Neither can he come to my ward and win election for me. And therefore, it is supposed that he has to be sufficiently consulted at all times, so that he will carry those critical stakeholders within his constituency that helps him to win election. That is the only way he can get their loyalty and support for the APC. During election days, each one of us will be in our respective polling units. It's when you are involved from the beginning that you make it a primary responsibility to ensure that the party wins election there. And finally, the primary responsibility of the National Working Committee, this brand new one, is to win election for the APC. Every other thing is secondary. So whatever they need to do, aside of those issues that I mentioned now, they must do to ensure that the APC becomes a very formidable electoral platform that will win election for the party at any point in time.
All right, Bukie Okangbe, would you say that those segments, those different groups that merged and now make up the APC, do you see that those lines have now become seamless, and the seamless integration amongst all those groups? I'm asking this because where I'm going with this is, yes, this new executive, brand new executives have come in here. What are you expecting to see? Obviously, they have a lot to learn from events of the past in the history of the APC itself. And one thing we would talk about is the proverbial banana peel. How do they avoid that?
Well, we're human beings, so I mean, we have to be human, so we should expect all this. I mean, the banana peels, we will expect it, but believe me, with what have gone down, especially during the campaigns, during the consultations of the aspirants, I mean, the different blocks coming together to try to take the leadership of the party. I think a lot of lessons have been learned from the CPC, from the, ANPC, or all the groups, I think there will be a lot of working together. There will be a lot of learning as well. Like my leader said, the chairman, our chairman, distinguished Senator Abdullah Adamu, is an experienced politician. He's an NPDP, but he has a very close relationship with the CPC bloc and also with other parties, other major parties bloc. So definitely with what is going on, we're expecting a lot, but definitely with what is going on already, after one day, we know that we're not going to get it wrong. What we need right now is reconciliation, just like what my leader has said, reconciliation. And that alone, I mean, thank God we've started that already. He started that before, emerging as the chairman of the party. I'm expecting good news. I'm expecting working together, and I'm expecting victory. The PDPs or other parties never expected that we were going to get here. They were pushing so hard, and finally, I must give it to the extraordinary caretaker committee. His Excellency, the Governor of Yobe State, he did very well, and his team, they gave us the convention, and we are here. They gave us a new leadership. I must thank him and appreciate the whole team. They did very well for the APC. And imagine the leaders that emerges. Imagine the people that, I will always emphasize, from the youth leader to the woman leader to the chairman, from the chairman, youth leader, and the woman leader. We are so impressed. And we know we are not perfect. We might not get it all 100%. But by the grace of God, with the kind of people we have on the table, we will definitely work it out.
Honorable Benjamin Kalu, speaking of the NPDP, what's your response to suggestions that the core merger, parts of the APC have lost out in this new latter-day entrants, particularly from the NPDP or the PDP or whatever you choose to call those, have now effectively taken over the APC. What's your response to suggestions of such?
Yeah, let me also mention that first, I agree with, before addressing that, I agree with whatever my colleague said here. In fact, he was spot on what this new administration need to do. And he was spot on. In fact, nobody could present it better than that. But on top of that as well, they should do needs analysis. Needs analysis should not be only the party's needs analysis, it should be the national needs analysis, so as to formulate policies, agenda going forward. So the internal focus is for strengthening the party, stabilizing the party, growing the party, but they must formulate a policy. There must be a philosophy they are going to work with for the nation, knowing where we are now, because where we are now is different from where we were when President Buhari came on board. Now, going forward into the next election, Nigerians would like to know, what have you observed as a new leadership? What have you observed in the country? And what are the pegs that you want to use to block the holes? Nigerians want to see that in black and white. But having said that, the issue of it's not true. It's not true that we are operating in fractions of the little pockets of people that came together. We have grown beyond that. We have gone. Our mentality has changed. The dynamism involved in growing our party has gone beyond that. We are not thinking about those fractions, which we are just platforms and instruments used to build this castle that we can call our own now. Everybody has a pie in this house. Everybody's interest is there. It's not, and at one time or the other, one person that will lead the party will come from one of the fractions. But it's not like it will be deliberate and say, let's share. This fraction, you produce the chairman today, tomorrow. That is undemocratic. Let's allow the natural, the realities of what we have faced produce leaders that will help focus the party the direction that we want to go. It's a wishful thinking by opposition to believe. I've read a lot of propaganda, flying up and down that PDP is now taking over APC, that is the NPDP. That is, like he said, the party is stronger than any executive office holder. The party is stronger than the president. The party is stronger than the legislature. The legislature is stronger than the chairman of the National Assembly, the speaker, that is the deputy chairman, and is also bigger than the executives of the party themselves. This is this Central Working Committee. And that is the way we view our party, in the spirit of the supremacy of the party. Until you internalize this spirit of the supremacy of the party, to drive patriotism to the party, loyalty to the party, cohesion in the party, unity the party professes, will be difficult. Because it calls for you abandoning your selfish interest, your own interest, for the overriding interest of the generality of the purpose and objective of the party. Until you get to that level, you are not politically matured to become part of the structure of that holds the pillars that hold the party. People who discuss like him are the people that the party have surrounded itself with. People who think beyond self. People who want the party to outlive them. And that is the new generation they are building. They are passing to people like us. We are coming up and we are raising other people where you forget yourself and think about the party. So on that platform, when you get to that level of maturity in politics, you don't think about fraction A or fraction B. So it's non-existent.
All right. And just yes. Additionally on what Benjamin has said, one of the major challenge in any organizational development initiative is the problem of integration. But this President Muhammadu Buhari, under his able leadership, has been able to integrate the various tendencies into one organic whole. Today, you don't talk of all those tendencies that came together in 2014 to form the APC.
Yes.
You are talking of the new APC, an APC that has focus, APC that has a brand new leadership, which is a true representative of the whole, taking it forward.
Okay. We'll take a short break here. When we return, we will have the lines open, and it's at that point you can get to join in the discussion in the studio. So stay with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We'll be back shortly.
Stumble into an opportunity at your own convenience. What if you stumble? Stumble into a friendly stranger and all you had to do is wave. What if? What if you unlock the opportunity of a lifetime with this new acquaintance in a branded shirt? What if all you have to do is your favorite things in your favorite places? Shopping at the mall, having a weekend getaway, or going to the movies? Your future is right outside your door. We are closer than you think.
Ever-busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Thanks for staying with us. And it's at this time that we open the phone lines, and you can join in the discussion in the studio. The numbers will be on your screen. We advise you take advantage of them to air your views on the subject matter. It is about the APC 2022 National Convention, the outcome of that convention. Let me just say this, we say it every Tuesday. If you do call in and your call gets through to the studio, remember to turn down the volume of your TV set so as to avoid the hurlback or the echo. And we also encourage you to go straight to the point, ask your question or make your comments. Don't waste time on greetings. Hello would just be fine. And so we're starting off with the very first call, Ada calling in from Plateau. This obviously is a regular call on this program. Hello, Ada, go right ahead.
Hello, yes. APC convention, I say kudos to them. So I've been able to have a very peaceful convention. But my worry is this. I'm not against consensus. But what I watched over this the television, that consensus looked like a gunpoint consensus, So I don't know whether, for me, it's undemocratic to have that kind of consensus, Then it's not yet over until it's over. Even though we now have a new leader, the chairman, should go around and mend fences, build bridges, make sure he now reconcile all those people that are still agreed, because the grievance is like a bottled grievance, because they are respecting President Buhari. Because I kept on seeing most of them, I heard most of them. At the end, they always punctuated their remarks with they had to concede because of the respect they had for President Buhari. Not necessarily because they felt they should have considered, because they felt the person that has been anointed is better than them and all that. That's what I'm trying to say here. Then I will say that again. APC, the problem they have is that there's lack of internal party democracy. Forget about this one that is, President Buhari had to step in. So it's like a kind of window dressing thing. For it to be sustained, let the chairman make sure that they inculcate or make the members imbibe the spirit of internal party democracy, and let them practice politics with principles. So that is a big issue. So they should just do that. The chairman has a lot of work to do ahead of time. But I must commend President Buhari for wading in and saving it from a total collapse. Although what he did, I don't know, maybe he felt that was the best way to go about it at that particular time, because it was almost becoming too contentious. So, but then going forward, let people now think of governance. The insecurity in the country is so much so that it is now threatening, life-threatening, even though he has made a lot of giant strides in infrastructure development. The insecurity is overshadowing it. Look at the one that happened in Kaduna. twice. Can you imagine? Airport, then this last one now, the train, APC, people can do better. Let the military re-strategize. They don't have to wait, and then be doing a piecemeal kind of thing. Let them have a coordinated kind of attack, and simultaneously all those contagious states, they should handle them at the same time. That's why we're having the problem we're having. And it will continue like that. We can't continue like this. All the same, let's not give up on this country.
All right. Thank you very much, Ada. Views? Well, you heard Ada.
Thank you very much for that intervention. Nigeria, what I want us to have in mind always, Nigeria is a highly heterogeneous society. We have so many fault lines, and it is the responsibility of political leadership to ensure that these fault lines are closed. And the fault lines were effectively and efficiently closed as far as this party election was concerned on Saturday. Consensus was not at gunpoint. The primary function of leadership is to bring people together where you have divergent opinions and galvanize them towards the attainment of a common objective, a common purpose. That was what Mr. President had done on Saturday and days before Saturday. And the outcome, I believe, as you have rightly mentioned at the opening remarks of your intervention, was awesome. The leadership that emerged did not emerge through possible imposition. Those that have conceded because of the overall interest of the party, which is bigger than everyone. That is on that. On the other one, the brand new National Working Committee of our party, the APC, has additionally a responsibility to bring the heads of MDS and other key operators of government to come before it from time to time to brief it basically on the level of implementation of government policies and schedule that were given to them by Mr. President. The government was formed by the party. It is owned by the party, and the party has a responsibility to talk to every operator of government to come before it, aside from Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, to explain to it basically what it is doing, what went wrong in respect of specific instances like the one you have mentioned. And I believe the ideas coming out from such kind of interaction will form part of a new policy direction that will help the government through the instrumentality of the party to correct some of the things that currently, in our perception, are not going on as we desire. The unfortunate incident of Kaduna of today and last week is condemnable, and is something that all of us have a huge responsibility to play to bring such kind of happenings to an end. And it is our prayer and hope such things will never occur again.
Okay. We have another caller on the line this time, Jacob from Benue. Hello, Jacob. Go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How is Nigerian?
Well, Jacob, we said don't waste time on those greetings. Let's go straight ahead with your comment or question.
Okay, I'm going on with it now. We are very happy for the new national chairman you have given us. I'm not wasting time, sir. I'm only to tell you that you should please tell the national chairman he should know that he has a following state, Benue State. And Benue is a home of APC, but the devil in PDP took on Benue from us, that we are not happy. So he should kindly walk down to Benue and move us to APC party. That's what I'm about to say.
All right. So that's it. Thank you, Jacob from Benue. Okay. Thank you. The lines are open, and we do expect the calls to come through as we go on. Now, let me bring this, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. A lot seems to have been said about the president and his stabilizing factor on the party and its activities. So the question is, the president is running his second term. What after President Buhari?
The beauty of leadership is not to lead self, is to lead those who are behind you, is to lead those who are waiting to receive the baton from you. So, what is happening now is that Mr. President, whose interest is to leave a legacy that Nigerians will remember him for, is very interested, quite interested, in raising leaders that will continue from where he stops. That is the only time he will be acclaimed successful leader. If he's unable to produce those who will continue in the footsteps that has delivered these giant opportunities for Nigeria, giant sources for Nigeria, he has failed. But he's not doing that alone. He's doing that in partnership with the party and the stakeholders of the party who believe in him. It is very important that you have people who are understanding you. I am happy that Nigerians have seen APC as rallying around their president, which means that the House is united for sources. Because it is in the general public parlance that the saying goes, a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. Nigerians have accepted that we are united around our leader. And that is the way it ought to be. Is he going to leave a hole when he goes? The answer is no. That is why we are serious in stabilizing the party, in adopting mechanisms that will help us put the party together for growth. I am assuring Nigerians that this political party and the kind of quality men and women we are bringing on board will lay the foundation for those who will do better than Mr. President.
Okay.
And we are promising also that when the next president comes, the same way we are rallying around this president is the same way we will rally around the next president. That is the philosophy of APC.
Okay, back to the phone lines. Nnamdi calling in from Delta. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Syria.
Good evening.
God bless you, sir. Just want to appreciate you because you are so concerned about the nation. I'm always watching you on the Tuesday live. I just watched you for the first. I just connected for the first time today. God bless you, sir.
Okay.
I just want to comment on what my brother Kalu is saying. You know, what Kalu is speaking very clear now, but what he's speaking is not what we are seeing APC acting. The way he is defending APC very clear now. But what we are seeing in their leadership is not what we were expecting them when they came on board. When they came on board 2015, we were expecting them to act more than what they are acting. So he's defending APC so clear now. So I don't know if what he's saying now, if Nigerians give APC a chance again, will they not still disappoint us? Because what we expected from them, all the promises they promised us in 2015, we have not seen what they promised us coming to fulfillment. Look at insecurity, look at the power sector. Things are not working the way we were expecting. The Nigerians trust APC. That was the first time they came on board. So, but what we are seeing is not what we expected from them. So, I'm just asking Kanu, are you sure that APC will not still disappoint most of all? Like me, I believe them so much then when they were coming on board. We were thinking that a new Nigeria is about to emerge. But surprisingly, there have no difference between the PDP government administration and APC. If you look inward, you see that there's not much difference between these two parties. But what my brother is saying now is just like giving me hope that something new is coming up. So, and I want them to put their house in order. Just like if the ladies convention they had, if they can do the next election, primary election, clearly without mago, all these things that used to happen in party, they give the right person that's supposed to be that flag bearer. I think that would be the best thing that Nigeria will be expecting from them, to give the flag to the right person who can stand for Nigeria, who can hear the cry of the masses, who can listen to the pains of people, the poor, who can remember the poor, who can hear the cry of the innocent blood wasted every day and night, who can fight and defend this country, who can stand not thinking of himself, not thinking of his family only, but Nigeria in general. I believe in one Nigeria. Though I'm an Eastern, but I so much believe in one Nigeria. Ask me any day, anytime.
All right, so, Nnamdi, you requested that Honorable Benjamin Kalu should respond to this issue, and so let's give him a chance to respond to the matters you have raised. And yes, Honorable.
Yeah, Nnamdi, first of all, I want to thank you for being patriotic. From the emotion in your voice, it shows that you really love this nation and you really want the best for this nation. But you see, information is everything, and not propaganda, is information. Getting the right information out there will enable you, that will inform your knowledge of what this administration has done so far. I'm sure that I'm going to ask that the moderator invite me and few others in no distant time to catalog what this administration has achieved from the time we came into place till now. It is amazing, despite all odds. I must mention that all those expectations were pegged on the fact that there will be no act of God. COVID came. You know, the price of oil per barrel before we came was 100 to 150. When we came on board, we're talking about 30 to 50. And many thought we would not survive. Many thought this nation will crumble. But this APC held the nation strong, taking some giant steps that you see that is spread across the nation, from agriculture and innovations in agriculture to infrastructure to even the security you are talking about. It would have been worse without the various interventions that have been put in place. Remember, this insecurity problem did not start from this administration. It was inherited. But as the day goes by, it started expanding. If not through the intervention of this administration, it would have been worse than this. But like I said, this time will not be enough for me to go through it. Are we talking about education? How far we have gone with that? Are we talking about how we survive, the health issues with regard to the COVID and how we are ranked one of the best in the world and how we did our intervention? I can go on and on. That despite the scarce resources of dollar per barrel, being dollar per barrel being $30 to $50, we're able to achieve tremendous, achievement in the country. So let me leave it at that. But I'm promising you that what we are going to have is not a new thing that is coming on board. It's the sustenance of what we have put in place. A foundation have been laid. We are not going to lay it again. We are going to add bricks on this nation building walls. And that is why we are very particular on who handles the trowel for the laying of these bricks, on who brings the bricks. And that is what you are concerned of. And I'm promising you that we are going to practice what we preach. We have been practicing what we preach. Look at anti-corruption, and not the rest of time will not allow me. Look at transparency element on how we have gone about it. Let me stop at that point.
Let's get back to the phones, and we have Umar Anache calling in from Birnin Kabi. Umar, another regular caller on this program. Go ahead, Umar.
Okay. Good day. My name is Umar Anache, as usual. And I will start by congratulating APC for giving us one of the member of PDP as our chairman under the influence of President Muhammad Buhari. Whether you call it internal democracy or otherwise, it's another ball game altogether. But my own worry is that the APC and the PDP are all the same. There is no difference. The PDP of today becomes APC of tomorrow. There is no difference between the party manifesto and other things. But I will urge Nigerians to dump PDP the way they dump APC, to dump APC the way they dump PDP. And look at the third force. The third force in form of independent candidate. The third force that will salvage Nigerians from the atrocities that have been committed. Look at the insecurity. Look at the education. The masses, the children of the masses will not go to school because the lecturers are on strike, and members of the members today, they do not care about what is going on in Nigeria. Where are we heading to? May God continue to bless our country. Okay. Let me stop here.
Thank you very much, Umar. Perhaps, Dr. yes, you'd like to take on that.
Yes, basically, I want to assure Umar, my brother from Brunei KV, and others who share the same opinion, that the business is not going to be as usual. As Honorable Benjamin has mentioned earlier, so much has been achieved. Of course, there's so much yet to be done. But when you are looking at the performance of government, you should always take into cognizance that Nigeria is a federation. You have a government at the center, you have government at the states, and the local governments. The government at the center under the leadership of this President Muhammadu Buhari, as earlier explained, has done remarkably well in so many areas, one of which is ability to keep this nation together. This is a fundamental achievement. It's an achievement that no one should take for granted. Sectorally, the performance has equally been commendable. You move down to the states and do a detailed kind of diagnostic studies of what the states are doing. The collective efforts of governments at the state, if they are not done in the right direction, have the capacity to pull down and dilute whatever efforts are being done centrally. But I'm an optimistic person. I'm very, very hopeful that the achievement that we have recorded so far will be quadruple in months and years to come. Beginning with the event of Saturday, you have someone at the leadership of the political arm of government, a consummate politician, highly resourceful person, positively smart, someone who has been winning elections since 1971. He has never lost even once. He has experienced that as diverse as the Nigerian Federation. At the helm of affairs, you should be rest assured the future is much more certain than the past. The past had issues. The issues of the past were corrected today, and tomorrow, if the leader of this country is preparing to leave, he is handing over government to a much more stable leadership. And our prayer, and the prayer of Mr. President, is that whoever is going to succeed him should exceed his expectations and the expectations of Nigerians. Thank you.
All right. We go back to the phones. We have Godwin calling in from Benue. Hello, Godwin. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, good evening, sir. Good evening to Honorable Benjamin Palu.
Thank you.
My contribution is this. I want to say a big thank you to the APC National Working Committee for a successful 2022 National Convention and for giving us the National Party Chairman in the person of Senator Abdullah Adamu, whom we know very well to be a man of integrity and a peace-loving person. And I want him as the new elected national chairman to ensure that he goes around to call all the aggrieved members of the APC in all the various states, especially in Benue State in particular, and to make sure that he puts the house together, and then from there we'll make progress. And I also want to say a big thank you to the APC-led administration of our dynamic President Muhammadu Buhari, who have done so much. Just that the opposition parties may be coming in to say some things just to damage the image of the APC-led administrations. We all knew that we inherited some of all these challenges that have been confronting the country. And then by the special grace of God, we know he has done marvelously well to put everything in place. The issue of insecurity, he has done so well. And I will believe that by the grace, we are going to conquer and we are going to come victoriously come 2023. So that's my contribution.
All right. Thank you very much, Godwin. Godwin from Benue. Well, the lines are still open, and we expect more calls coming through here. But yes, this convention has taken place, but there's a lot of work ahead of your party. 2023 is around the corner, but even closer is Ekiti and Osun. How prepared is your party for that?
Yeah, but you can see, let me mention a little bit about the callers. Two people called from Benue and they were concerned about the party in their state. But the first caller, the previous caller on this one that just called now. And the same thing is also happening in Abia State. We need more unity. And so the party will not be strong at the center, at the top, and the roots, they are weak. So it is important that, just like he mentioned, that reconciliation becomes one of the prioritized agenda to enable them move around. He was good in the committees that were set up. I mean, the current national chairman, he was part of the reconciliation committee. In fact, he handled Abia State. I come from Abia State, and I know that it's not healthy. The unity is not as healthy as it's supposed to be. So visits, to resolve all these things will help us emerge better. Yeah, my joy is that this new National Working Committee will leverage the achievement of this convention. The energy is high as we speak. The confidence level of our party members, they are high. And this is their first outing. The elections you mentioned now, just like Dr. mentioned, he said, our chairman from 1971 till date knows how to win election and has never failed one election. So he's going to bring that formula that has helped him previously to win elections back to back. To help the party. He records success in the coming elections in Ekiti that you just mentioned now. And the party would like to prove that they have come to stay by giving him all this necessary support to enable that happen. So it's not going to be just the call of the National Working Committee where everyone will sit back and say, go show us what you are able to do. It's like a mock exam for the coming general election. No. The same way we came together as one body, the broomstick, is useless. But when it comes as a bunch, it sweeps. And so for those two elections, we are going to come as a bunch. Okay. And we are going to sweep off the opposition and make sure we sweep in the progress that is being advanced by President Muhammadu Buhari.
We have Peter on the line from Jos. Hello, Peter.
Good evening, Mr. Siristova.
Good evening.
I'm calling from Jos.
Right.
All right. Please, I wish to congratulate the APC for a successful convention. Then, secondly, is how I wish the new chairman is on this program. Yes, APC is doing well, but when you look at some of the things that are happening, imagine education in this country. I weep for my country. Our youths, university has been closed. Sanu and Nasu have joined the strike now. What's the future of our youth? Please, I would advise that this should be the chairman should pay a courtesy call to the president and have a round table and see how this can be addressed. Education, we cannot tolerate education in this country. It's becoming too much. So please, I congratulate you once more. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Peter from Jos. Question around seems to be, how can this party reposition? It's on the party's platform that the leadership of the country rode to win elections. So the party plays a key role in driving the Nigerian dream forward, and that's what almost everyone who's called in has talked about. And how can this party, will this new leadership of the APC drive the country's aspirations to fruition?
As mentioned earlier, we have had some challenges prior to the National Convention. Quite a number of people, party members and non-party members alike, were a little bit skeptical on the ability and capacity of the party to hold itself together and hold a successful National Convention. That we did. The next formidable challenge before the National New Working Committee is to, as a matter of urgency, set up a committee under whatever name calls that will carry on the exercise of internal reforms and repositioning of the APC by looking at everything within it, every function within the party itself. That can be done. And when those things are done, rebranding the party to clean up some of the issues that preceded the convention, reforming its internal organs by making sure that it has a functional, effective, and efficient board of trustees, which will serve as the moral conscience of the party. That will reduce significantly some level of load on the leader of the party because of its existence. Its neck, much more effective, much more efficiently run. Not that it was not run efficiently in the past, but we are moving into the future, and we want to move into the future from a position of strength so that we'll be able to sweep, like Honorable Benjamin has said. And finally, going forward with those two elections, the gubernatorial campaign organizations that will handle those elections will equally be charged with the responsibility of reconciling the members in those particular states, and therefore it should be some of the early birds. It should start early.
Okay, Suleiman from Nasarawa is on the line. Hello, Suleiman. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Good morning, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I want to first of all congratulate the APC for the successful Congress that bring about the election of their new National Working Committee and the zonal officers. My contribution here is that Mr. President has done very well since the inception of his administration. And I want to commend his effort in the area of security, infrastructure, and so many other things that he has brought to this country. The other area I would want Mr. President to step up is this area of insecurity, especially the one that has just occurred along Kaduna Abuja railway line on Monday. It is a very, very terrible incident, and we pray God that this does not happen again. For the people that want to blame the APC and Mr. President for everything that happened in this country, I think they are not being fair to the president. When Mr. President came on board, we know that Boko Haram was almost overriding or overrunning the whole of the country. When some of us go to our worship centers, we fear that we may not survive it. We just go and with the grace of God and come back. But today it is a thing of the past. But another one has come again, this banditry and other things. But we pray that God would make it a thing of the past again. For infrastructure, in my state of Nasarawa State, a dual carriage road from Kefi down to Makodi is almost completed. We have a toll bridge that is to be commissioned maybe later this year, and so many other projects that is scattered all over the country. I want to congratulate Mr. President and the APC family for a successful Congress once more. Thank you very much, sir.
Right, thank you so much, Sullivan from Nasarawa. Well, if we talked about the immediacy of Ekiti and Osun, how about 2023? Well, the new executives are in place, and some political watchers say, well, it might not be as simple as the convention when it comes to the primaries where the leadership of the country will, emerge from those who would run for the leadership of the country. This might well be what your party, would do your party in the question of zoning, in the question of consensus. How are you going to handle that?
Like I mentioned before, we use power distribution to inspire loyalty and cohesion. Yeah, I say so because we adopted a formula. But the powers that we had in the north should come to the south. The one in the south go to the north. When we approach the presidency, the presidential election as well, the candidate, the body language of our party now is that it is going to the south, which will make it easier for us to sit with those who are from that zone to have necessary discussion that will not be different in structure of the formula from what we have just done in our convention, where stakeholders will sit. In this case, national stakeholders will sit, regional stakeholders will sit, and it is in our democratic tradition to use consensus where possible to bring up our leaders. I can assure Nigerians that they should be looking forward to a good outing when it comes to selecting the next presidential candidate of our party. It's not going to be like you painted it, do us in, using your word. We're not going to be done in. We are on the ground and we have, internal party mechanism that is set to resolve issues like this. And believe me, post-convention, The strategy and its implementation has commenced because we don't have time to waste. And this strategy is all inclusive, where everybody matters. Like he said, you cannot be in your own area and win election in my own area. So my input matters a lot in the decision-making mechanism of the party. That is what we are going to apply. And I'm looking forward. Like I said here last week, I'm also looking forward to that outing when the time comes.
We'll put the same question, but we'll put the same question to Dr. Babayu. But for now, let's quickly take on Ghana, who's calling in from Damaturu. Ghana from Damaturu, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Nigeria.
Right.
And good evening, Mr. Siristoba.
Right. Go ahead.
With your guests all. Mine is just very little. I want to congratulate the chairman of the just concluded convention, that is Honorable Memala Buni and his team, for wonderfully conducting the convention, and the convention is successful. And also, as well as the President Muhammad Buhari, for the maturity and working hard to allow the convention to take place. And we are wishing the new leaders a very successful tenure and moving APC and Nigeria forward. So that is all I can say, and all the guests are welcome and happy deliberation. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Ghana from Damaturu. Yes, before Ghana called in, Honorable Benjamin Kalu had addressed the issues we raised. We're bringing it to you in a different way now, and say perhaps you've heard clamors from all parts of the country, among them particularly the fact that the leadership should shift to a particular zone. In the arrangement your party has in moving groups of leaders from this side to the other side, would you stick out and say the APC would do that?
Well, I will stick out and say that the APC will do that. Because this is a party that believes in the unity of this country. This is a party that believes in the political, economic, and social stability of our people. This is a party that has clearly manifested itself in the last 7 years. It's a party that has the capacity to build bridges across ethnic and nationalities within the Nigerian Federation. This is a party that has produced a president for the northern part of the country. And by the special grace of the Lord, the next president will emerge from our brothers and sisters in the area below the Niger-Benue confluence. When it does, we shall, as a party, believe, give responsibility first to the critical stakeholders in southern Nigeria to come up, of course, in consultation with all the critical stakeholders across the Nigerian Federation, so that the president that will emerge will be a Nigerian president. Mm-hmm. That is basically how it will go. And that is the key success factor for the APC. We are not doing it because the party is under any kind of pressure to do it, but because of the moral principles, moral foundational principles of this party, which believes in justice, in equity, in fairness. And that is what we are looking at, and that is what shall, by the special grace of God, come to pass in 2023.
You do hear people say in politics there are no permanent friends or foes. If we were to use that and say you have those who always refer to as the opposition, would you open the party's doors to the opposition if they decided to join you up, no matter the level where, you know, the disagreements with how the party has run the country's affairs?
Of course. The doors are already open. It was open before the convention. It is more open after the convention. And we've been harvesting. Very soon you're going to be hearing the names of people who are coming because they were sitting on the fence thinking that the crisis has come to consume us. But suddenly they saw that the unity of purpose of the party was greater than selfish interests. That we have matured as a party beyond self. And that is what Nigerians are looking for. Those who will, lead outside themselves and bring the people to the center stage as one of the tenets of democracy that promotes the desires, the wills, the ambitions, the hunger of the people. People are watching, and like we always say, the society is your mirror. Look at the amount of congratulations coming. These are Nigerians. They may not be wearing our political party colors, but they are Nigerians impressed that the biggest party in Africa is making good efforts towards advancing our democracy. That is the hope of the coming generation. And most of the people who have called now, most of them are younger generations who are forward-looking to becoming like what they see in other climes. And APC is offering that. Why do you think they will not hop in? Those who are already established in other political parties, I don't want to mention names here, are already romancing with our various political structures for them to cut a pie into APC. And we have a pie big enough to accommodate the desires of all. So, in simple terms, the doors are open to embrace more people because 51 million out of 220 million population is not yet enough. We want to keep growing in bounds to make sure that truly we are the biggest party in Africa.
Would this be essentially because of the programs? Many Nigerians don't want to talk about ideology on these matters, but let's just stick to, would it be because of the programs, or would it be in what some say they suspect is just to be able to get on the bandwagon and, they say success has failure has no brother, but everyone wants to associate with whoever is in the driver's saddle.
Well, that is partly correct, but more importantly, because of programs. And secondly, because of the political leadership of the leader of the party. We build organizations around individuals. And when you have an individual that is a strategic, politically astute, with tremendous level of integrity, like the leader of this party, that is enough attraction for all rational beings to come in. On the issue of program, what else can you hope for? Basically, the three major policies thrust: the economy, security, and anti-corruption. You know, corruption is an evil. A corrupt person cannot provide leadership. And therefore, making that basically a major policy thrust and the major achievements recorded so far under this particular program is quite commendable and is enough, amongst others, to attract people to come in and join the APC family. The economy is growing. People may have issues, but they normally and usually don't consider the exponential growth in the Nigerian population. What is coming into the kitty is barely enough to address some of the critical challenges facing the Nigerian state in the area of infrastructure in the area of poverty reduction, and so on and so forth. So the programs of the APC-led government are enough attraction. But largely, as you have mentioned, failure, they said, is an orphan. Success has so many parents. The success recorded by the administration are enough reason for people of goodwill to come together and join hands in moving this frontier forward. And like Honorable Benjamin has said, APC is a Nigerian political party. It is a Nigerian organization. It belongs to all Nigerians. Nigerians are welcome at any point in time to join and add value to its growth and development.
All right, so it is at this point we'll leave this conversation and say thank you very much for coming to share your thoughts with us on the outcome of Saturday's APC National Convention. We'd like to thank you for coming on this run. Dr. Musa Babayu, former Chairman Board of Trustees of TED Fund, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
On NTA Tuesday Live. And Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Chairman, Media and Publicity, the House of Representatives, and spokesman, Abia State Leadership Caucus of the APC. A delightful evening. Glad you could join us again, back to back, to talk about this convention. And we look forward to bringing you on again to talk about what your party, the APC, is contributing to democratic
I'm actually looking forward to that. I want to have a section where I will catalog all that Mr. President and my party has achieved in the 6-7 years. Thank you for having me.
And thank you too for being part of this program. Next week we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stover. Continue to stay safe.